confirming it for me, Assembly. Let me then introduce you all to our two speakers for today. Our first speaker for today is Shilpi Jain, teacher educator with over a decade of experience as a teacher and coordinator at respected public school. After a brief stint working abroad in the corporate sector, Shilpi returned to India and became actively involved in the Teach India project, a CSR initiative of the Times Group. Currently, she is working as freelance consultant with the British Council, providing services to NGOs, schools, and institutions across India. Shilpi has also been a trainer and mentor for the CBSE competency-based education project, and she has co-moderated an online course for teachers on Electronic Village Online, EVO 23, which is sponsored by TESOL, Computer Assisted Language Learning, Interest Section. As someone committed to continuous learning, Shilpi has completed numerous certificate courses from EVO, the British Council, Teach for India, NILE UK, and has also completed her Module 1 of Cambridge Delta program. Our second speaker for today is Nandita Sarkar, who is Faculty of English from Central Institute of Tool Design, Hyderabad. Nandita has more than 15 years of teaching experience at both school and college levels. She has served as the head of department, postgraduate teacher, assistant professor, and language trainer. Her expertise includes training students in employability and communication skills, technical English and general English, especially at her institute. Nandita has freelanced as content developer for publication houses, creating English literature and language materials for CBSE, ICSC, and the Telangana State Board. She has also participated in British Council's Action Research Mentoring Scheme as a mentee and has been a recipient of the British Council Scholarship, which fully funded her MSc in TESOL and Computer Assisted Language Learning from the University of Stirling, Scotland, UK. With that, I will request Shilpi to take over. Shilpi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Katiksha, for that wonderful welcome and introduction. Welcome and hello to everyone present here for this workshop, 2 AI tools to help teachers develop students' listening skills. And Mahua, can you please start the slideshow? Thank you. So let's look at the overview of what we're going to discuss or learn today. First of all, we need to answer this question, why it is about listening skills. So we have a poll coming up for you. And then we'll discuss some key findings of the latest British Council report on AI and English language teaching. And then find out what research says about these skills. What are the criteria when we have to choose a proper AI tool which is suitable for our needs? And then, of course, the 2 AI tools that we have specifically curated for this workshop. The first one being ChatGPT for lesson planning, and then discuss some basics of creating prompts. And the second tool, TED-Ed for engaging listening practice. And we end the session with additional resources, the Q&A, and of course, the reflection on what we have learned today. So without further ado, let's start. Maho, would you start the poll, please? So I highly encourage everyone to use the link which is given in the chat box, and it is also on the slide, https://etc.ch/IW_ER. It's in your chat box. Click on that and you'll reach the poll. Also, you can scan the QR code. I think she's already gone out, so it's fine. You can just click on the link and get into the poll. And there's just one question. I'll read it out for you. How much time do you dedicate to teaching listening in your education context? And the options are never, rarely, sometimes, often, and always. And you can also answer in the chat box if you couldn't get to the link. However, through the link, we'll get a live results So we would highly encourage you to use the link in the chat box. So we'll wait for 30 seconds and see how many people have voted. Okay.
Closing the
So
poll now.
yeah, I think we can stop the poll and we can see what the results are. Uh, Start on the, just play, yeah, play the result. At the bottom of the same screen, no, the same link. You did right. When, yeah. And then here at the bottom, there's a play button at the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side. Just play the result at the bottom. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. All right. So we do have a good percentage of teachers saying often, which is interesting. Always, that's great. And sometimes. The teachers here are well aware of the listening skill being an important foundation skill out of the 4 LSRW skills. However, AI in that field hasn't evolved as much as we would like it to be. And that's why we chose this topic. Let's go back to the next slide. And it's often called the Cinderella skill, uh, despite it being the most important. Um, it's least focused upon in teaching. So it's heartening to know that there are a lot of teachers, including the listening skill in the classroom. So let's see what the findings from the British Council report. Sorry, the first, it has already gone. So these numbers mean something. Any guesses? Any guesses what they might mean? Just a wild guess. So I'll tell you what the report was about. There were interviews of the edge tech and the experts in the AI research field all over the world. There were many countries that participated in this research, and there was a survey of teachers. So can you guess what the numbers might mean? 19, 118, and 1348. Any guesses in the chat box? 19 surveys. Okay, great, Kritika. Thank you for trying. And 1348 would be K to 12 is Cambridge curriculum level, 19 countries. Okay. 118 schools, 118 teachers. All right, that's nice. 134 is Natasha. That's right. 119 countries. That's correct, Sashi. Perfect. Yes. So you got that right. There were 1348 teachers from all over the world who took part in the survey from 118 countries. And there were 19 in-depth interviews of people from the AI field, experts, edtech experts, educators, policymakers, and the like. And any guesses what Asia is referring to on this slide? And then I'll come to the K to 12 also. Any guesses? What would Asia be there for? Schools from Asia. Okay, Dilshad. Asian countries. That's right. Yes. K to 12 teachers in Asia regions. Wonderful. Nahat. Asian countries. That's right. Top user of AI. Wow, you got that, Edison. Yes. Asia leads the world in AI research, which is surprising because still 2018, it was, I think, US that had the majority of research happening on AI. But Asia's surpassed that, and it contributes to 68% of the research articles written on AI and ELT education. Also, the surprising output from this report was that K to 12, kindergarten to 12th grade AI users were very sparse, and mostly it was being used in adult education. So that's where the focus of our future considerations for AI research would be. Now, some key points about the research would be that it answered two questions, basically. What is AI being used for in the English language teaching and learning? And in context of listening skills, what does the report say? What are the opportunities, issues, and challenges it presents? And what was found was that three language skills, which are speaking, writing, and reading, they were basically the key areas where AI was being used in ELT. And the other two were pedagogy and self-regulation. However, listening was missing. But the interesting development of the latest report, which was the first one was in December 2023, and the latest one was in April 2024. And from then, listening has also appeared in the AI research, though it is not as very few studies have been published till date. So it's still a developing area in the research. And specifically for listening skills, what they have been using is a generative AI. And that's why we have curated that tool for you. So what the report wanted to find resulted in these outputs that we need a nuanced definition for AI, because everyone thinks of AI in different ways, differently. Many are not even clear what it is. And the AI applications in ELT was mainly for personalized learning or for teacher support, and it remained at that. For listening skills and AI, very limited info is available, but the potential benefits could be personalization, immediate feedback, creating authentic materials. And from the teacher's perspective, they felt that there are perceived benefits for all the language skills. However, there's a lack of training. Challenges, of course, there are. We are still in a very nascent phase of using AI. So there are technology issues and tech integration. Teacher training is a major concern. Ethical considerations like plagiarism or academic misconduct, inclusivity, the deep divide increases for low resource areas. And of course, there's a bias. Privacy concerns are there too. And the language gets standardized. There's also a concern that the influence of the big tech companies would make it more commercial. So what do we need to consider in the future for developing AI and ELT? Would be a need for wider studies, especially for the K to 12, something for assessment, and an ethical framework. And of course, it goes without saying, teacher literacy. So if these are handled, I think the latest elephant in the room, AI, would be used for better to our advantage. Now, further research says in everyday communication situations, 25 to 30% the speaking skill is involved, 10 to 15% reading, less than 10% writing, but a majority of 40 to 50% is about listening. So school children receive 90% new information through listening. And that's not me saying, that's Gilman and Moody who said that in 1984. So having considered that, listening becomes the key skill that needs to be developed and focused upon during teaching as well. And I have my co-presenter here, Nandita, who can expand further on what these percentages actually mean. Nandita, over to you.
Yeah. Uh, as per the research says that listening is very less done in the classroom. So, but listening plays a major role in understanding spoken information in the classroom. Children spend 40 to 50% of their time listening to the teacher who explains new topics, new concepts. Speaking accounts for 25 to 30% of their time, typically during Q&A sessions or of sharing their thoughts through group or pair activities. Reading occupies 10 to 15% of their time, usually from textbooks or instructions on the board. Writing is the least common activity, comprising less than 10% of their time, primarily focus on taking notes and writing answers. So, according to Gilman and Moore's findings, that underlines that listening is a fundamental skills in communication, occupying nearly half of a child's daily class communicative activities. This shows the importance of developing strong listening skills in education, as it is a key to effective learning and interaction.
I
So
could
that is
agree more, Nandita. That's perfect. Yeah, sorry, please finish. Nandita, have you finished?
yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I could agree more with you. The 4 R's we say is the foundation of all the listening skills, which are the remedial. A listening skill is a remedial. It helps spot where the errors or gap in understanding is. It helps in reinforcement of concepts. It helps in retaining information, and it is a real world application. So with these very important key areas being served by listening, it's no surprise that we are focusing on listening in this workshop, and we want to use AI to our advantage for that. So let's go without further ado into the AI tools that we have curated. But before that, I would like to touch a topic that we had dealt with in the previous workshop we had done on webinar on integrating technology in the classroom. And we had come up with an idea of how to what factors should we consider when we are evaluating an AI tool? Which tools are appropriate for our classes? So I invite responses in the chat box. What words come to your mind when you're choosing an AI tool for your class? Like, for example, is it easy to use by the children? Or is there's a steep learning curve and you need to take training for the classes to be able to use that? Or what factors come to your mind when you're choosing a tool? What do you consider? It should be easy and reliable. That's correct, Akansha. Easy to integrate. That's perfect, Guinea. Edison says accessibility. Oh, there you got it. You got it. Time saving, certainly. Easy to use with proper instruction. We should be able to integrate. Ad free, very important, Renu. Comprehensive, including all subjects. That's correct. And should focus on educational purpose. Easy to some extent. Okay, engagement. Like DFID, I like that, Pooja. DFID is on our list. That's correct. Gives correct responses, very important. Yes, AI can be confusing because it hallucinates. That's the word they say when it gives incorrect responses sometimes. User-friendly and compatible. You got that. So let's see what we have. We had lots of responses. Thank you for those enthusiastic responses. Like perplexity. Oh, I love that AI. And friendly. So we had, to just stick it in our head, we had coined a acronym ARU, where it stands for accessibility, which you all got it right, reliability, and user friendliness. And the way to remember was, are you choosing the right tool? So once you have chosen the right tool, depending on your context, so what suits me, it's not necessary it would suit you. So in your context, whatever suits is the one that you need to choose. And the teacher's role is still the decisive power in the classroom, despite AI. AI is just an assistant, and you are the one who has the power to choose the appropriate tool for your classroom, suitable to your context. So the first one that we have chosen is ChatGPT, and I'm sure everyone knows about it. Um, However, it is not used enough. It's underutilized, and the way it can be used is still not known to some, except for a small activity or conversations or asking questions or information about a topic. But it can be used very creatively, and it can be totally a boon for the teachers and the students alike. So let's see some overview features of ChatGPT. First of all, have you used ChatGPT in your classrooms? Can I invite some responses? Yes or no? A Y or a N would do. Perfect. Ankita says, I'm using it. Use prompt engineering. That's wonderful, Pooja. I'm interested in how to use, you're in the right place, Neha. Make it accept it's a teacher. If high school and then ask questions. Okay, great. Microsoft, Copilot, Google, Gemini. All right, yes, those are alternates also. That's correct. Yes, Somya has been using it. Perfect. A lot of yeses. Great. So we're going to learn from you as well. And let's see anything differently if you have used, we will be just showing you a demo of how we have used it to generate listening exercises. But we would love to learn and know more from you also. So please keep sharing your ideas, any other alternate apps or platforms that you are using, which you really liked. So that will be interesting to know. Trang says sometimes, that's fine. Yes, so we are getting there. So first of all, we use the ChatGPT from OpenAI, which is, you can see the logo from Play Store. Then we have to be careful that we have downloaded this one, because I think the green one has app or some, I'm not sure. But this one is the OpenAI ChatGPT, because there's so many around. This is the most versatile one, I would say. And there are, we'll be discussing how to give prompts. Someone said prompt engineering. That's correct. That's a word. It sounds very high tech, but it is basically how to give you the correct prompt to the tool to speak to us and respond to our requirements. And we'll see a demo. And then, of course, you will be suggesting one of the prompts in the chat box that you will use to create a listening activity in your context. So what all can ChatGPT do? Can you put it in the chat box? What all can it do? Yeah, you can go ahead, Mahua. So I'm waiting for responses. What do you think can ChatGPT do? So there are lots of no's and yeses. That's fine. I haven't used it yet. That's fine. Used for creating use cases to explain different scenarios. That's right. Okay, Kahoot, not in the classroom, menti.com. Okay. While making lesson plans, that's correct. Seeking activities, it provides quick solutions to your question. That's correct. So let's see. Mahua, can you come up with the next slide, please? So you'll be surprised that it can do so many things and we are underutilizing it. It can plan. That's fine, Lodu. That's why we are here. Generate rubrics. I love that. Assessment. Kritika, we are going to do that. Everything you asked for, that's correct. Not everything, but yeah, most. Create stories, various tasks, micro teaching, give feedback. I love that, Tanu. Yes. There is nothing wrong in using AI tools. I agree, Joniel, as long as we know the limitations and boundaries. That's perfectly said. I agree too. Yes, lesson plans, activities, rubrics, questions and prompts. That's correct. So it can check grammar and generate exams. That's correct. Bloom's technology. I would love to use that. Worksheets. You got that right. So you can already see that your responses are contained in the slide. What all can GPT do? Chat GPT. Anyone knows what Chat GPT full form is? And why Chat GPT? Just an off question. Yeah, brainstorming, flashcards, student manual building, Q&A. You got them right. Perfect. I love those responses. It can do a lot, but with the right prompts. Very true, Priya. Right. So it can browse the web for you. It can analyze data. So it is a data analyst. It can create image, talk about images as well. It can write, brainstorm, edit, explore ideas. It can help you learn something new. You want to start a hobby, go ahead, ask it questions. What do I need? And then start from there. It can be customized for your work. For teachers, it's a boon. It can assist in writing and problem solving. It can create content. It can write a poem or a story. That's right, Mehboob. Generative pre-trained transformer, GPT. That's correct. So it generates text. It has been pre-trained fed with data, and it transfers because it has a neural network which it gathers information like our brain does from different cells in our head, and brings the information at the click of a button. So it's a GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. And that's where the limitation is. Since it's pre-trained, it's dependent on us for the information we feed. So we are still the masters. Anyone wary of using AI shouldn't be so much, because it is what we train it on. So it can answer complex questions, type or talk, summarize videos, automate repetitive tasks, which is the boon where this is where it beats the human being. It can automate repetitive tasks a lot, and that is its scalability feature. Can we move to the next slide, please? And thank you for those wonderful responses. Yes, Manisha, chat generative pre-trained transfer, it is. Mabel Lynch, it humanizes the work of teachers. It does. I truly agree. So all the repetitive tasks, like when the calculators had come, weren't we wary? When the industrial revolution happened, we were all wary. So this is the AI tech revolution that's happening, and we have to accept it. Since it's not going to stop, we might as well, we have to ride the wave. There's no way to stop the wave. So some key features of ChatGPT would be, it understands natural language, the human language, and it generates that text accordingly, human-like text responses. It gives us multi-language support because it can speak in any language, which is again a boon. It can maintain context, because if you're starting a chat, till you start a new chat, it will keep replying to the questions that you post on that chat. So it's maintaining the context throughout the chat. It works on NLP. Mohan, that's very correct. Yes, neuro-linguistic programming. Am I right? And what about Meta? Okay, Meta AI is also there. Yes, that's by Facebook. So it can be customized to suit our needs, and it can be used in different kinds of scenarios. And different scenarios would be like customer care, education, content creation, personal assistance. It can help in learning interactively. So it's a boon for students. They can have a conversation going learning. It can create creative content, like I said, poems, essays, stories, which is useful for writers and artists when they have a writer's block, maybe. It can integrate with so many that it makes it very useful. And it can handle so many interactions at the same time. One human, I would say, disadvantage that we also get, we have our limitations, but ChatGPT can really scale it up in that regard. So with such lovely features, why don't we just learn how to use it? And as always, there are benefits and disadvantages of using anything like ChatGPT also. Benefits we are already aware. So for the sake of time, we'll just discuss a couple of disadvantages and see what we can do about it. So obviously there are accuracy issues. So the teacher's role is a good thing, or it's a good thing, I would say, that the teacher's role still remains, that they have to check for the content that they receive as responses for its authenticity and what to say, whether it's correct information that you've got. So that helps you in your research, but it has decreased your time that you would be going to different resources to find out information. So it has done the walking job for you, and now the thinking job is left to the teacher. It lacks emotional intelligence and deep understanding. So we have to take it with a pinch of salt till it gets that wise. And there are ethical concerns of plagiarism and obviously privacy, security, that all cost, accessibility. It's not accessible to everyone. So the digital divide has increased because low resource classrooms are not there yet. But we can't stop it from moving forward. So, and it is dependent on human beings for providing, training it. So whatever we feed is what we get back. And that can limit its creativity. But as we are progressing in our research, I'm sure that will be taken care of as well. That is why the research focuses on the future consideration for an ethical framework, which can take care of all these privacy, security and ethical concerns. So ChatGPT is kind of a conversation partner, and as in every conversation, what you ask will be answered. So we have to understand the how to create good prompts. If your question is not clear, then you won't obviously get a proper or effective response, and then you might get frustrated. Oh, ChatGPT is not good enough. So you have to ask it with and give it as much clarity to understand what you want, how you want it, when you want it, where you want it, every detail that you can put in. And that is why we have come up with this acronym CLARITY, where C stands for context. That means giving ChatGPT a background, who you are, what are you looking for exactly, what is the relevance of the question, and then the language. L stands for language. So language should be simple and clear. When you're asking questions to the students, you want your question to be simple and clear, isn't it? And it should be level appropriate. So that's the same thing with ChatGPT. You ask it specifically. So A stands for ask. You ask specific task with clear instructions and the desired output, what you want from it. And since first time you might not get it right, so it's very important to go for the R, which is the refine. Refine your prompt as you go. When you see that it gave you 80% of the information, you're not happy yet. So you test, you improve, you reiterate your prompt, and you refine your prompt. And then it helps you to make it clearer for ChatGPT, just like we do in the classroom. We give examples, we give demos, we give visuals to assist children with new vocabulary. Same thing with ChatGPT. We have to illustrate with examples that this is the way I want it, for example. And then it gives you very effective responses. Tone, also, if you tell, I want a formal essay or an informal joke or an informal story. What emotion? I want the emotion of kindness to be to come out in the story. So you have to give what tone you are expecting the story that you've asked it to create to be in. And of course, like we also give some flexibility to our children to be creative. We ask some open-ended questions. So we have to yield to what ChatGPT can also do and surprise us. So one or two open-ended questions to ChatGPT would help ChatGPT give something new that you were not expecting, but it works. You might not have thought about it. So with this framework, clarity framework, if you develop your prompt, and we are going to see in our example next, how accurate the response from ChatGPT can be, right? So let's go to the next one. And I'm sure everyone knows that we go to openai.com/ChatGPT and we get this page. And when we go to start now, we get the next page. So can we go to the next page? Yeah. So here, it's a small video, but I'll take you through it. So it's a white logo, and there's this message box at the bottom where you enter your prompt and you click the arrow up to hit enter. So to make things easy, can you play the video? There's a play, but no, if you go back, yeah, this one, play this, just yes. So you can see that this is ChatGPT logo. That's the message area where you put on your prompt. And prompt engineering, as someone said, we are to save time, we created a list of prompts, and let's try the first one. So we want ChatGPT to create a poem on weather, and let's see what it does. I'm sure you can't read it, but it doesn't matter. You can see how it is happening. And when you watch the presentation later on your desktop, if anyone is on the phone, it'll be legible. So now it gave me a longish poem, and I want to downgrade it because I'm teaching grade 6. Or reiterated my prompt that I just want 2 stanzas with rhyming words. And see, it gives stanzas with rhyming words. Now, closer to our context, let's try one for listening skills. And you can see the red part is what is the focus on our clarity framework. We're giving it more context. We're giving it more details. And then you'll see a more detailed response comes. So it gives you a listening passage. And you can put this passage into a natural reader or any Google text-to-speech software, and they can listen to it. And the questions are ready for you. And it has also teachers' notes, suggestions. So this is, we are getting closer, but let's get into a more detailed prompt. So let's go to the next video here. So if you see on the left-hand side, you can see the threads. So all the threads that you created, conversations that you had, are in the history, and that's a very helpful feature of ChatGPT, because you can go back to any conversation and restart or add on to that conversation, right? So that is what it maintains context was talking about as one of the features, a very useful feature. So only in the first introduction, if you say I'm a teacher from India, it will answer to that context only. It will keep all its answers limited to that context. So let's try a very detailed prompt and just focus on the red bits to get an idea. We are going to go into more detail in the next slide. So just watch what's happening. Now it's a very long prompt, a very detailed prompt, and you'll see the results of this prompt as well. So we put it in the message box and click enter, and you can see it's giving the clarity framework. We asked it to use the clarity framework. So context, language, ask, it is giving every kind of activity based on each of the parameters of our clarity framework. With a pre-listening, a post-listening, and a while listening activity as well. So you can see how detailed it got and very specific to our needs, tone, yield, everything. And then we asked it to give us an assessment rubric. So I didn't ask it yet, but it has suggested one. And that gives me the idea I should ask it for a detailed rubric. And this time, I'll add the prompt that I want differentiated questions in the same level of students that I have. So, which I forgot last time. So I have added to the same chat, and in that context, it will add on, and this time it will give me differentiated questions. You can see during listening, post listening, and then the CFR differentiated questions for beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. So those on the phone, I'm sure it must be hard to read, but when you watch this later, it will make sense. But those on desktop, I'm sure you can see what's happening here. So now we will ask it to give the steps how to conduct that activity in the classroom or online. So as a teacher, I need some suggestions. And there it goes. I also asked it for a assessment rubric, a self-assessment rubric. One for the teachers and one for the students. So it gives me the steps for online activity, for in-class activity, what is the preparation I need to do, what I need to do in the pre-listening, listening, and post-listening tasks, what all, and then the self-assessment rubric is up there. It gives me, I asked it for an objective one, so children can self-assess, and it has given me one. I asked it for some personalized feedback suggestions for teachers and a teacher's rubric. It has given me that as well. And last but not the least, I also wanted to create a Google form so I can set up a formal assessment. And it does that as well beautifully. So it does 80% of your job. 20% of the job still remains that you have to see the validity or authenticity or appropriacy of the questions, and you can change it, but you get ideas. So, or if they're good enough, you can copy paste and your form is ready. And I asked it, what are AI tools that I would need to conduct activities for listening using this information? And it has given me a list of the apps that would be appropriate for teachers and for students alike. So again, your job remains to test those apps, curated according to the ARU framework before you give it to your students to use. And you can give them one or two, not more than that. So once you have explored these suggestions, I also asked, as a good lesson plan should have, what would be the anticipated challenges and solutions for students and for teachers. So and I wanted it in a table form, so it gives me in a table form. So ask and you shall be given, and that's prompt engineering for you. No rocket science. Just be careful that your prompt is as close to what, in fact, exactly what you need. So create the prompt and your work is done. So let's see the detailed prompt that we had. Can we move to the next slide, please, Mawa? The next one with a, yeah, that one. Thank you. So here is the prompt that I used, and using the color coding, you can see the C, the context. The context I've given is it's a private school, CBSE board, urban India. The language that I want is grade 8 students, appropriate for B1 level, which I think our students would be at B1. And I asked for, my ask is that I want a listening comprehension activity, which tests both macro and micro listening skills. And it should involve listening to a passage. And R was reiterate. So I reiterate by saying, please create an activity. The second part is reiteration of my ask. I is the information I gave. The information was choose the clarity framework, and I gave a very detailed clarity framework to it. T is the tone that I expect the responses from the students to be in. So I specified that in the clarity framework. And Y, the yield, was some open-ended questions for reflection that I asked it to create in the assessment also. So you can see by using the clarity framework, it is actually a three-prong approach. The same framework can be used to give a prompt to ChatGPT. The same framework can be used to create an activity for the students in the classroom. And the same framework can be used in creating assessments as well. So it works well on all levels. And here's a task coming up for you. I'm not sure whether, no. So we for to save some time, we have removed the task. But what I would suggest the task could be, you can try using a detailed framework, like the clarity framework of your own. Create one that suits your context and needs, and add it to the prompt that I have given in the last slide, and see what different response you get from ChatGPT. And it will be interesting to know. So that would be later. And now let's check your understanding. I hope it's been a lot of me talk time. I would love to hear what you have to say by telling me whether these statements are true or false. So the first one, let's do them one by one. So Mahua, can we just show the first one? Let's go back to this, just the first statement. Can you go back? Thank you. Yes. So just put a true or a false or a T and a F in the chat box, and let's see if we have been listening. Hi, Dr. Savitri. Thank you from Chennai. Nice to see you here. Interactive learning. Yes, Jyoti will be talking about that. I truly believe in one of your advantages as accuracy. Yes, that's correct, Johnny. It's not accurate, and that is why we have different platforms, and it's a nice idea to compare the responses from different platforms. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, you can try all, or Bing, you can try that and those, and see which gives you the best response. Okay, so have we got? Okay, so we can skip the true and false, and that can be given as a home task. Let's go to the next tool that we have curated for you, Ted-Ed. Over to you, Nandita. Thank you for your
Yeah,
responses to
thank you,
those.
yeah, thank you, Shilpi, for giving
Time
such a
going.
nice nuances how to use ChatGPT through Clarity Framework. And here is the second AI tool, that is TED-Ed, for engaging listening practice. So, what do you can you put your understanding what is the full form of TED-Ed in the chat box? Yes. Yeah, I can see some responses. Yes, it is technology, education, okay, engineering and design, okay. So usually the full form of TED-Ed is T stands for technology, E stands for entertainment, and D for design. And these three are the broad subject area, and Ed stands for education. To familiarize with this TED-Ed interface, we have an overview of the TED-Ed platform and its features. Second, there will be a demonstration navigating through the TED platform, finding suitable videos. Third, there will be a showcase of interactive features like quizzes, discussions, and some additional features. And the last one is an interactive elements where, as a participants, you can check your understandings of the TED tool. So some of the key AI features are interactive quizzes, personalized video recommendations, AI-powered search functionalities, and adaptive quizzes. Moving to the key features of the TED platform, it has high quality education videos. That means it has a library of education videos that are meticulously crafted and produced to enhance the standard of the quality. Lessons are interactive with diverse subject matters. This platform offers a wide range of subjects from the science and mathematics to history and arts. Each lesson is interactive, incorporating quizzes, discussions through thought provoking questions to enhance student engagement. Content can be customized based on the level of the students you teach. It may be you can prepare challenging tasks. At the same time, you can create tasks which suits to your students' need. Can collaborate globally. It facilitates global collaborations among the educators and the students, providing a platform where they can share their ideas and work on joint projects. And you can track lessons and monitor progress. This platform includes tools for educators to track students' progress through lessons and assessment. Can engage community student talk and educators talk. This involves a feature where students and educators can talk and share, has creative animations and visuals. This platform is known for its innovative use of animations and visuals, which bring lessons to life. These creative elements not only make the content very engaging but also help in illustrating abstract concepts in more accessible way. And lastly, easily accessible, free, and open access. It is freely accessible to anyone with an internet connection, making it a valuable resource for educators and learners worldwide. Momo, can you?
All right. So I think the video here, can you play the video, Mahua? Yeah. So everyone has, most of us have seen the TED-Ed platform, but for those who are new to it, just a brief introduction that it has tabs like Discover, Create, Get Involved, and Discover has all the lessons, video-based lessons on all the subjects that you can think of. It has a diverse, would say, portfolio, and there are collections that are theme-based. You can also explore the interactive experience that Nandita just talked about. And the blogs and articles are excellent tools that you can use it in your exercises as well as additional resources. You can create lessons, you can create collections, and you can get involved by using the community engagement by organizing student talks or educator talks. So that's a very brief intro of what TED-Ed can do for you. And you can have your own library where you save your favorites. Suppose you have you're searching for some video and you got something that you really liked and you intend to use it later. You can put it in your favorites by clicking on the heart button, or watch later, or a collection by a theme or topic. So create your own library, and you can also receive notifications because it is the students. If you have set up an activity or a lesson plan, you can get responses about the student activity and the feedback, and that will come under your notifications. Setting it up is a breeze, just through your email, and I'm sure for teachers it is free. So if you register through your school email, you should get those benefits. Most of the AI tools, I'm told, for teachers like Canva and a few more that I have suggested in the later slides, you can all get those for free if you're a teacher and you have a school email ID. So let's see the next part of this video, where we are going to see how we can use one of the lessons from TED-Ed. So since we are on listening skills, we decided why not search for a topic based on listening skills. Let's discover a lesson if there is one. Yeah. Lessons. Okay. Yeah. So this time we will put in the search box listening skills, because that's our topic, right? At the top, if you see, and then search what TED-Ed has for us. And you can see a lot of videos come up. And the first one itself catches my attention. Are you a good listener? I think that would be appropriate for our topic. So we choose that one, and let's see what that has. This is how the video lesson looks like. It has a video on YouTube that the children watch. There are 4 sections to each lesson plan, where first the have just watched and answer some multiple choice or open-ended questions. And then they would dig deeper. There would be additional resources, like I said, in the blog or articles, which would be, add material to the lesson. And then they would discuss open face-to-face or online, and they can discuss about it. So these are the additional resources that the teacher can convert it into a listening activity by copying and pasting this material into, again, a natural reader or Google text to speech, and it becomes an additional listening activity. And then they can have a guided discussion or an open-ended discussion.
Shilpi, I'm afraid we only have 2 minutes to end the
Yes.
session overall. So
All
if we
right.
could quickly
All right.
go into the
Yeah.
last reflection
So
bit.
I
and
won't go
take-
through the next video. We'll give it as a resource. They can watch how they can customize the same lesson on TED-Ed.
Sure,
The example is there. Let's go on to, let's move, do away with the activity also. Just, yeah. So I would invite at least chat responses on whatever you have heard so far. I'm sure that there was some takeaway for you. So at least one takeaway from today's workshop so far, or a prompt that you would give in your classrooms for listening skills specifically. Can you give me a prompt or one takeaway from today's session? And then we are done mostly. Yes, you studied for
We are
teaching.
receiving many responses, Shilpi, in the chat.
Okay,
may I request Tatiksha to take up the
collates that.
questions?
Yes.
Sure.
So there are some
Yeah.
additional tools that they can see. Someone had asked a question, and you can check out Duolingo and Speechling are good for practice for students. And for teachers, Diffit, someone had mentioned, I really like that for teachers. That's free also. And Twee. Just try these for creating listening exercises or any skill-based exercise. So those tools are given as resources, and there are a lot of additional links given that you can check out. So let's come
Thanks,
to the
Shilpi.
session.
Yeah.
Pratiksha.
Thanks, Shilpi. Thanks for answering that specific question. And there have been so many others in the chat box as well. Some of them did, of course, want to know if there is an accuracy component to ChatGPT and other AI tools. And I believe you've already answered that for them. There is one specific question that I think is on mind of a lot of our teachers here
Yeah.
today. This is regarding how can everyone be mindful of the boundaries of using AI tools such as ChatGPT, because sometimes students are just relying on ChatGPT but not checking whether the information is correct or not. So I believe you have to a certain extent
That's
answered
right.
that one. The second one, which really caught my attention, was of course things like this question, of course, is asking us whether new technology like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini Cloud, and many more, would they impact teachers' employability in the future? So if I could ask you to maybe answer
That
on.
those are those are the questions. I'm glad that they have been asked, because these are the questions that are at the back of our head all the time. Like the report also analyzed, the challenges and the concerns were regarding academic misconduct. That's a big one. That children will become very reliant on GPT or AI for answers, and there can be cheating involved, especially in online situations. But there's a here is the teacher's role. So we have to move. Chat GPT is doing the lower order thinking skill task for you. All right, giving you the information, but it is for the hot order thinking skills that we need to develop in our children. So we have to frame the question in such a way that, okay, go like it's an open book text, a test. We used to have that once in a while in our university also. It's an open book test. You have the text with
Yes,
you. Find this information and analyze it, compare it, contrast it, or give your critique on it. You review it,
yes.
give your opinion. So when we ask them to
So,
do something where the thinking is involved, critical thinking or problem solving, we have taken away the AI support from them. That they cannot. They can get
yes,
ideas, but you have to reformulate. Now, ChatGPT has given me an answer in 2-3 pages. It has given me the resources, but to answer it briefly, precisely in 200, the child has to go through, the student has to go through the steep learning curve of analyzing the information, keeping what is relevant, putting it into simpler words, and giving his or her would say soul to it.
right.
So
So
we have
basically, so yeah, basically, Shilpi, if I can like summarize what you've shared here, is essentially it's not that we can stop or prevent the students from using it in the
no,
future,
we
but
can't.
perhaps what we can do is relook at the way we are assessing them, and
That's
maybe provide them with some ethical tools and support with which they can move forward in using it. There
correct.
has been one very interesting comment in the Facebook Live section as well, from Oshwa, who says that teachers should know how to utilize well these AI tools that are accessible, so that their teaching is effective, and I think that is how they can remain relevant even in the future without worrying about
Correct.
their future jobs.
Correct. Correct. That is true. And in the research also, there was one of the panelists interviewed who said AI is not replacing the teacher, but replacing the type of tasks that take the teacher away from the students. So with that
Absolutely.
thought in mind, I think AI is here to stay, and so are we. And that
Abs-
answers the second question. It is not going to affect employability, but it's going to affect productivity. So
mhm. Yes.
it's not going to take away our jobs. It's going to take away jobs from teachers who are not keeping with the flow. So
Mhm.
getting AI literate is the more what say major concern that teachers should be having, and that is why the focus of our workshop is also exactly that.
Absolutely. And just to help teachers who are here, to add to what Shilpi said, how to keep up with your own professional development in this particular field as well. I just want to let all our participants here know that we have a couple of webinars and mini events and panel discussions coming up in the month of September, starting with, of course, the first one on 11th September, where you will be, you will look at 3 practical sessions on using AI for personalized, creative, and engaging learning. I'm sure this webinar will help you further, strengthen your own professional development and your knowledge of AI tools. So do look out for the Space on Teaching English webinar mini event page, where you will be able to see the upcoming webinars. And with that, I can already see that we have shared the feedback link as well. And I'm really, I apologize to all the other panelists and participants who had shared their questions today. We are short of time. However, I'll request all the participants to click on the feedback link that has been shared in the chat box with you all and complete the feedback form so that you can then access your certificates as well. But at this moment, I would also like to thank Shilpi, Nandita, for a very informative session. Thank you so much, really, for taking us through these wonderful, interactive, engaging AI tools. They were very user-friendly. I could see that. And there was a lot of, response in the chat, which showed that a lot of our participants are open to using them further and exploring them further in their classrooms.